It's July 27th, 2023. This is Roqe. Hi there, welcome to episode 274 of Roqe. I'm Jian Ghomeshi. Hello to you from Toronto, Canada. Salam dostan aziz, durud bar shoma. Hope you are doing well wherever you are tuning in from around the world. We are on our ongoing mission to build a new audiovisual encyclopedia of Iranian diaspora identity. I'm starting to do this like William Shatner. We are in a... hello, smart Pegah.
Hello.
Oh, your microphone's kind of quiet.
Hello, hello.
Sound person Louise, can you turn up Pegah a little bit? Hello, hello, hello.
Here we go. Can you hear me better?
Yeah. I mean, I can
Kind
hear
of.
the first. There you are.
There we go. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you see?
difference.
Now, coming up,
Mm-hmm.
dynamic Iranian singer,
Yes.
musician, popular star,
Mm-hmm.
former Black Cats member,
Yes, yes.
Kamyar.
Very excited for this
Are you
interview.
excited? No,
I am.
in preparation for this interview,
Okay.
I said to myself, you know what, Jian? Pegah is going to be a fan of Kamyar.
Mm-hmm.
And that was correct.
You are correct. But you know what the funny thing is? I never used to be.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, initially, first of all, Black Cats days, I guess I didn't really know who he was. It was just kind of like Black Cats as a group.
You didn't know the names.
Yeah, I didn't know like who was who. I just knew, kind of Black Cats as Black Cats. But then...
Did you know Shahbal Shahpare?
Yeah, I mean, him I knew.
Did you know Schubert?
No.
Okay.
But then
That's
I
all
saw...
I know, too.
That's all you know,
No,
too. Okay,
I know.
fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
Then kind of as the years went by and Kamyar went out on his own, I saw one interview with him, and I was so surprised by some of the things that he said, and this perception that I had of him of just being as part of this band, and that was it, was kind of totally changed after this interview. And then I got to understand his music a little bit better, and I really, really like him.
He's a really interesting guy.
Yeah.
I actually don't know him. He's not somebody that sometimes we have musicians on and stuff who are already friends of ours. Obviously, he works with and knows a lot of people. In fact,
Right.
we're going to go out today on his most recent song is with Baba Kamini, our buddy, but I don't really know Kamyar. We're just in terms of organizing this interview, we've been in
Right.
touch a little bit, and Super P was contacting him and stuff. But he, having done the research now and watched a bunch of his interviews and learned about his story, totally interesting guy.
Yeah.
First of all, another prominent Persian pop artist who didn't grow up in Iran.
Yeah.
He's like, it reminds me of Erfan or
Yeah,
Maximini or these
exactly.
people who, although I think of those guys as more American, I really thought Kamyar would have been somebody who, till the age of 20, was in Iran.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason. Yeah. And so interesting that he, then I thought, oh, he's an American because he's in LA and stuff. But he's actually French. He
Oh.
grew up in Paris. So
Interesting.
he was born in Iran. At the age of 1 or something, the family moves to, right around the time of the revolution.
Okay.
Family needs to get out of Iran, goes to France. So his self-identity, his early years, his understanding of culture is shaped by being an Iranian kid growing up in France in the 80s and
Oh.
90s. A really interesting guy. And then I just assumed I knew he was a good singer. Kamyar I knew was a good singer.
He's a great
I've heard
singer,
he's
yeah.
a great singer.
He really is.
And I found out that he loves Stevie Wonder. My first question for him is going to be about Stevie. I love that there's an Iranian guy who's in love with Stevie Wonder. Stevie's my guy.
Yes.
Below Bowie.
I was
But
going to say.
Stevie Wonder, I've always said if I could have a voice like anybody in the world, I'd want Stevie Wonder.
Wonder?
Oh. And anytime I
Good
can, I
choice.
see Stevie Wonder live over the years, But I don't think he's a big name in the Iran. Like people... Some of a certain generation might know Stevie
Yeah.
Wonder,
Definitely
but not
of a
really.
certain
He's not the Pink
generation.
Floyd category, where Iranians, the Metallica,
Modern talking.
modern fucking. No, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I get
the
it.
Iranians
I get
know modern talking, but this is absurd. No one's heard of modern talking except for
Jian's blood pressure
yeah.
is
Anyway,
rising.
yeah. So, but so they don't know Stevie Wonder, but he's a Kamyar. So anyway, I knew he was a great singer.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out he's a classical pianist.
Yeah, that's something that I found out.
You didn't know that?
Well, no, that's what I
now
found
you
out.
know, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was incredible.
Not a lot of interviews with Kamyar in English, too.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to doing this. Anyway, Kamyar joining us for a feature interview in just a few moments. I think he's in L.A. or somewhere in Las Vegas. We'll find out as soon as he joins us. We have his number, and he's joining us on Zoom.
I would hope so.
Yeah. He's not coming in the studio, unfortunately. But now, we are recording. Today is actually Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Humans are hearing this on Thursday and beyond.
Yes.
And humans and animals.
Humans and animals.
Roqe animal fans as well.
That's right.
Because I'm going away and tomorrow. And so we're pre-recording this show. So for all intents and purposes, all of our information is as of
today,
Monday.
yes.
Even though you know what? What day did I say it was today? I said it was July 24th. And I should have not said that because it's actually, this is Thursday. I'll change the beginning. So yeah, I'll redo the beginning. But it's July 27th. For humans and animals.
Yes.
But for us, it's Monday.
Yeah.
So we can only guess. Now we have to hope that it's funny because I'm an Arsenal fan.
Mm-hmm.
And
of course.
Who
doesn't know that you're an Arsenal fan?
Well, people need to know.
know.
People need to know I'm an Arsenal fan. And the guys I listen to do Arsenal podcasts.
Right.
They're, especially at a time when there's a lot of signings and, we're waiting for people to be signed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're always saying, I bet you by the time this podcast is out there, the deal will be done and we'll be left behind. So similarly, we're recording this on Monday night, but who knows, day after tomorrow, the regime falls,
You never know.
Hossein Rouhani is the new, I don't know, president, and it'll be Monday, and we're going,
we didn't know.
We didn't know, yeah. But and more importantly, what will Twitter be called by Thursday? Because
who knows?
This Elon Musk, I don't know the guy. Seems like a genius guy, right? What's going on with this guy? Why would you take a brand name?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure this will be dissected and discussed by smarter people than me that observe major corporations and stuff. But why would, even if you're making big changes, I mean, the whole language, we tweet, right? Or people who go on Twitter. I gave up on Twitter a long time ago, but I still lurk.
Right.
And now it's going to be called X.
Okay.
Or it is.
I'm a big fan of Twitter. I love Twitter.
What about Persian Twitter?
Persian Twitter, even more so.
Oh, okay.
Even though it takes me 10 times longer to
Is Persian Twitter
read.
also X now? I guess it has to be.
Well, first of all, referring back to quote-unquote X, I don't think it's going to go through that easily because Microsoft just announced, or I don't know, something's come out just within the last couple of hours that they have a copyright on X. Remember Microsoft X?
X, that's right.
So now there's all this legal...
Maybe this is a gag. You think he's just doing this to get a bunch of attention?
I don't know.
Why would you rebrand everything?
He does these crazy impulsive things, and somehow they always work. This is the thing I don't get.
Is Twitter working?
Yeah, come on. Twitter's still pretty good.
No.
I mean, what happened to Threads? Are you still on that? Thank you.
I posted something about Tony Bennett on Threads, as a matter of fact.
I don't know.
I think I got 11 likes. There was 11 people who saw it.
All I'm going to say is Twitter is still superior to Threads. So
Twitter's been around for a decade, 15 years, and Threads started last week.
Threads was hilarious. It was like they became the most they got some sort of like crazy record of most people to sign up on the first day or something like that. And then the second day it was like that's it, downhill from
it is
there.
Tumbleweeds over there. Yeah, Threads land is not looking good. But maybe it'll be this Twitter thing, I'm sorry. I do think that this is whatever Elon Musk is smoking. It's not working for me. It's too. First of all, Twitter was already. We're wasting time.
Yeah.
Kamyar is coming, but Twitter was already a toxic place to me. Twitter is the apex of toxic when it comes to. We talk about social media being places that divide people. I find Twitter's the height of that, and I do believe that it's only gotten worse with the Elon. I think he sees that as part of the game. It's like, we want people to,
but that's
argue
the reality,
with each other,
isn't it? I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it should be that divided and that
people
toxic.
do things anonymously, or people just go on Twitter and yell at each other. I mean, it's not that. That's actually isn't real life. And
No, I'm not saying it's real life, but I think that's part of social media these days.
It is part of social media, and it's not healthy.
Yeah.
But so anyway, whatever. That's right. You go on there if you want to, and Elon's building up. But now it's X today.
Today it's X.
By the time the Roqe show comes out on Thursday, who knows what it'll be? Maybe it'll be back to Twitter.
Yeah. I think
and the bird is gone. The little bird, the blue
I can't
bird.
believe that.
So weird.
It's so weird.
I mean, can you imagine? Yeah, I don't know.
But I think he's got this crazy plan because, like, if you look at all of his other stuff, right? Everything else has these like weird names and alphabet and things like that. So I think he's trying to unify everything.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Sure.
What do I know?
So this weekend, which was 4 days ago, in the humans who are listening.
This humans
I
versus us.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we here?
we're not humans. So today is Monday. We just passed the weekend.
Yes.
And even though you're hearing this Thursday, it's brand new if you're listening to us right now, but we were recording this a couple of days early. We just had a weekend. We had a big festival here in Toronto,
yes.
and there was a bunch of in fact, I think it's one of the biggest,
largest
cultural festivals in the world of Iranians. And there was a lot of performances. Some people we know.
Yeah.
Some new friends made.
Definitely.
But for each of the stages, literally the stages, there are MCs.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I used to do some of this MCing for Tirgan back 100 years ago, like 5 years ago or whatever it was.
100 years ago.
Yeah. Tirgan started 14 years ago, you know. But now you were doing some of the MCing.
I was.
Smart. In fact, the Roqe team was all over this Tirgan thing.
They were.
There was like a singing with kiosk, and there was a Kaveh, one of our young guys working with us here. He was part of the MCing.
Yeah.
Daria, who's been on.
She was part of the
Anahita was
MCs.
dancing up there.
Yeah.
The Roqe team represent. Although I noticed you didn't mention anything about Roqe when you were up there.
I was going to stand up there and I was going to introduce myself as Smart Pegah.
I don't get why that's such a joke to you to mention
it's not
Roqe
a joke.
Media.
It was just
you could have said, hey, you might know me from. People would have gone. In fact, I had somebody come to me and go, by the way, I just saw somebody. Was that Pegah from? I'm like, well, this person would have been so happy to hear you're Pegah from Roqe.
Yeah, they would have.
But no,
you know what?
You were not.
We were on a very strict script.
Yeah.
Yes.
How? What was your highlight of the? You emceed the opening night.
I did
with Rastock.
Oh my gosh, they were incredible.
And then I saw you opening. Did you MC the Paris Sayad thing?
No.
That was my favorite thing probably of the weekend. There was a tribute to the great comedic actor / writer / director / Paris Sayad. And it was a beautiful tribute, which led to a standing ovation that was minutes long. It was probably 10 minutes or something, and it was quite emotional.
Yeah.
I thought you hosted that. Did I forget that?
No. I was there.
Okay.
I was in the audience, but no, I didn't host that.
I thought, I just see you everywhere, Pegah. I think it's you. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What was a highlight for you?
You know what? This is going to sound so like cliche, but really the highlight was actually, I was really nervous to do this. It was my first time ever.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was my first time ever doing something like this. And I was really nervous. And the highlight for me was actually seeing all of you guys, my friends, family, everybody from Roqe.
God.
I'm serious. It really was. It's so hard
Exhausting.
to stand up there and feel that nervous. And it's
Your
nice
whole family
to see
was there.
My whole
with
family
the little
was
pooch,
there. Yeah,
little dog.
Truffle
Yeah.
was there. That's right. But
Oogie,
really,
Oogie came on Sunday.
Yeah.
But he didn't meet Truffle.
No, Truffle went home on Sunday.
Right.
Yeah. Now we're just talking about our dogs.
Dogs, yeah. We got to move on. Poor Kamyar.
I know.
There's people who've tuned in to hear Kamyar, and instead they're listening to us babble on about Elon Musk.
Yes.
But well, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
your. I thought you did a great job emceeing.
Thank you.
This Tirgan, I have to say, these festivals, lovely because I go and it's a place where a lot of people will see you and they'll come say hello.
For sure.
But it's also a reminder of how Iranians.
Oh, I'm holding my breath.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, these Iranians. It's all about appearance.
Okay.
It's got like in terms of, first of all, I don't understand how Iranians are so wonderfully taurufi and polite and have all this sense of decorum, but not when they come up to you at a festival. They're gonna mention the way you look, right? This doesn't matter.
Oh no!
The number of times somebody said to me that I'm. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
There's a guy that this is an absolute true story.
Okay.
This was like after the one of the concerts, and I saw the guy comes up and goes, Jian Ghomeshi? And I go, yeah. Jian Ghomeshi hasti?
Yes.
He's like looking excited. And I go, yeah. Topoli shudi.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Like that's it. And I'm like, what? And he's like, oh, the podcast, good job, like that. And then like this the whole time,
My
everybody
face right now.
they come up and and the number of people, like they would go, hey, Jian, you're Jian, right? Yeah. Aren't you like you're much taller than we thought?
Oh my goodness.
And then
why
like,
is this such a
why
thing?
you're growing a beard? I mean, I couldn't stop, even people I've never met before who would then go on to compliment the show.
Right. But they have to start
They
with
start
something
with
about
something
your
about my
appearance.
appearance. Topoli shudi, why are you so tall? And the tall thing was weird.
Well,
again.
that's what I was gonna
This
say.
is like
This is-
how many times have we talked about this? But it happened. Even Super P was with me for a couple.
Yeah.
I swear, like 10 people in a row came up and they were like, "Oh, I thought you were shorter."
So
And then I say, "No, this is my height." And then they're like, "Yeah, weird." Like they don't even believe when I'm in front of them.
Oh my
they don't believe
goodness.
my height. And then I'm also Topoli, according to.
I think we're gonna put a picture of your driver's license with your height, just so everyone can, once and for all have this settled. Wow, I'm shocked.
Rish Mizari Aloni, like another one was
Oh
like,
my
what's up with the
God.
beard? And I was like, what? Just say hello.
You know what? Maybe it's because we don't put enough videos and photos and stuff of you. People are starting to forget what you look
no,
like. I don't know.
I don't think so. I mean, it's like a thing. They feel comfortable. People, I just don't think in English you don't lead with stuff like that.
Are
Like,
you Jian Ghomeshi?
Yeah.
You've gotten chubby.
yeah. Suratit, and then one guy said Suratit Topoli shode. Well, your face has gotten chubby.
God.
Like I can control it, And I was like,
thanks.
oh, thanks. Okay, and like,
I mean, they
no.
always followed with something about Roqe at least.
Yes, that was lovely. Lots of people coming
Right.
up and saying Roqe, and actually a lot of people recognized Oogie yesterday.
Yes.
People
Our
like
leader.
from people my total strangers
Right.
running up Oogie, and I'm like, wow,
Lookie's so
Oogie's
loved.
got like star power.
He does.
So that was my Tirgan Festival. People just coming up and commenting on what I'm wearing or my beard, or I'm too tall, I'm taller than they thought, or I'm chubbier than they thought. It was
Wow.
it was weird. And then I did an interview on Iran
Oh.
International. I agreed this guy Farzad,
Yeah.
the big anchor guy,
Right.
who, by the way, much shorter than you think.
Now we're commenting.
So
Okay.
his face is a bit in person.
You know what? I actually didn't
this-
see him this whole festival. I
Wow,
know he was
he was
running
broadcasting.
around and broadcasting.
Great guy, a really nice guy. He's
Yeah.
been on the show before, So he had said, "Come,
Right,
let me do an
right.
interview." And beforehand, I'm like, I asked a couple of people, like, should I speak in English,
Right.
where I can sound? Did I ask you this?
No,
I should have asked you. What would you have said? Should I speak in English or should I speak in Persian? Because most of the people in Iran who are watching Iran International will say, "Oh, it's cute, it's Persian," but I can't speak as well, right? I can't speak.
I think I would have said speak in English because
I
Iranians
know.
speak English anyway. I mean, I know they prefer to watch Iranian International and Farsi,
I
but
don't know.
like, how many Iranians do we know
So
from
I
inside
decided to
Iran who
speak in
speak
Persian.
English? Okay,
A
but how did it go?
I think it was a disaster.
I'm gonna go
It
look
was-
at it.
Yeah,
now.
don't
I'm gonna go
look.
watch.
All these people came up after, like, throughout the weekend. They were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we saw you on International. That was cute." I'm like, "That was cute." We were talking for 15 minutes. That was cute. It's like you say to a
Cute's
child.
not bad.
Oh. And then in the middle of the interview,
Yeah.
I wanted to say support, and I couldn't remember. Like, we need to support
Right.
the Iranian culture, and I couldn't remember if supporting is hamle or hemayat. So I was like,
Very
what
different meanings. there.
hamle بکنیم, like, yeah, it was just, I mean, the whole
What
thing.
did you end up going with?
I don't know. I
Okay.
can't. The whole thing's a blur.
Okay.
And and I know I should have spoken probably. I mean, to be fair, everyone did say. Well, I mean, everyone. The people came up,
Right.
said. It's funny because they would say, "Hey, that was great." No, you're
Yeah.
Persian. Then I go, "But was it really?"
No, I
and they
think
go,
you know what?
"Well,
You probably think it's worse than it was. It's
No.
always like that.
well, you know what the problem was? I should have like mixed in a bunch more English.
Right.
I went for it.
Yeah.
So I was like pausing to think of the words. Hamle is not support.
No,
right?
no, no.
Yeah.
Hemayat.
Is,
Yes.
yeah.
Hamle is to
See,
attack.
somebody should-
Totally different
I was
context.
like, we need to Hamle the Rastock group. No, I didn't say that.
Speaking of Rastock,
yeah.
I thought that was such a phenomenal performance.
You did, huh?
I did.
Yeah.
I loved it.
They're always good.
They're always good.
Yeah, yeah.
Really enjoyed that
But
one.
there was anyway, I mean, so that's my Tirgan experience. I'm speaking Persian. You were speaking English.
I was.
So your Farsi is really good.
Thank you.
But you didn't speak Farsi at all.
No, you know what? This was, like I said, my
If
very
you were
first
interviewed
time.
on Iran-International, would you speak
Well, I was
Persian?
going to be actually. So Daria and I were asked to do an interview, and I got caught up going in between different stages and doing the openings and things like that, so we didn't get a chance to. But funny enough, I was thinking the same thing.
Right.
When they asked me, I was like, oh, do I speak in Farsi or English? And, you know, I'm comfortable speaking in Farsi, but I've always said this. I feel like when you try to be professional, and I don't mean professional in like a career context, I mean just to sound a little bit more, I don't know, like, you know how Farsi it is.
Yeah.
There's like politeness and things like that, and that's hard for me. Just speaking to friends and, you know, hanging out, talking Farsi is easy for me, but if I want to step it up a notch, I can do it much better in English.
Yeah.
So,
well, after I did the interview thing, all of the Iran International, all the people who were around, some of whom were like Maral Mohammadi, these people we know, they were like, that was great. And I was like, was it really? And they were like, no, it was really good. It really went well. And then I saw, then the next day when Super P, you know, because I tell her, you got to be honest with me, you know.
Of course.
I was like, what did you think? And she was like, you should have spoken in English.
Oh, no.
You should have, like, that was, you know.
You know what? Not to
and
make
I was
you...
like, and I was like, well, no, but it wasn't bad, right? She was like, no, it's bad. You know, she didn't. I mean, it was. She meant you can be more eloquent.
Well, that's exactly what I was
You can
saying.
show people you're smart in English instead of. And then she was like, because you talked like a 4-year-old, which I thought was a little excessive. You know. Actually, you know how I can tell that Super P that it wasn't good because I keep saying, can you? I haven't seen it, right? So I keep saying, oh, can you send me the link? And she's like, yeah. And
she's not.
She doesn't send it.
She's sheltering you.
It's something like that. And also like today I was like, because other people put up their links, and, you know, they do an interview, and I was like, oh, I should. I should put up the interview.
She's like, no.
No, she was like, you don't need to do that.
I love that she's so soft about it. She's like, no, maybe not.
No, you don't need to. And I was like, no, but I mean, why not? People put up their interviews on their social media, and she's like, no, I don't think you need to do. She really, but she's like a self-hating Persian. Like, she doesn't like anything Persian. So like she prefers me in English.
Although, you know what, that is true. I have noticed that about Super P.
Yeah. So,
we speak Farsi all the time here.
Are you Jian Ghomeshi? Yeah. Is it you, Jian? Yeah. Topadi Shadi. I mean, who are these people? And the obsession with my height. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
I think Persians are obsessed with that.
I've really noticed how.
Why are they all commenting on that?
I don't know. We should film you standing up more or something.
No, don't. I don't know if you remember. I think I told you. Maybe you weren't here. I told that story. There was a photo we took in the Roqe of the Roqe team, and I'm taller than most of the Roqe team, and then people wrote in going, "Hey, there's something wrong with the photo."
Oh my god!
Because why is Jian taller? Like, it's a weird angle.
I didn't know
they
that.
wouldn't believe the photo. The fuck.
I did not know this.
And this Fardad, he was wearing, I said to him too, he's just speaking English,
Yeah.
He was like, no, your Persian's great. Like I tell, now I get it, right? Because I always say to people to speak in English on Roqe. Because it's charming.
It is. I think so too.
Not according to Super P.
I mean,
she looked at me like, this was a big problem. What did you go do that for? And I felt bad about it all weekend. People were coming up and like, "Hey, I saw you on International. That was great." And then I'd look at them like, "I don't believe these people."
For the
and then they'd say, "Why are you tall?" or something. Why Rishko Zashti?
I think the beard looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah. For the closing ceremony. Oh, she doesn't like it?
No.
Persian moms never like beards.
My mother doesn't like facial hair on anybody. No.
I was having this conversation with a friend. I was saying men should all have facial hair.
Facial hair is not polite.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
For the closing ceremony, speaking of English and Farsi, again, not only was I nervous to speak in English, I was extra nervous if I had to say anything in Farsi. And so Banafshe Tahirian, who I was on stage with, she thought it would be funny to tell me that I was going to do the closing on my own and to do it in Farsi.
Oh.
So the entire show, it was going on, and I was sitting there stressing that I was going to have to go out there.
That Banafshe.
That Banafshe.
She did one of her poems at the beginning.
She did.
She's
amazing.
Our buddy. Good job. So I always Hamle Banafshe taught her. Is that right? Or Hemayat?
Hemayat.
No, Hemayat, yeah.
Hemayat it is.
The worst part was like in the moment.
Right.
Like as I'm talking to Fardod, looking down at him because he's tiny, and I'm huge. And I'm going, whoa, Babayat, and I'm like, which one is it? Hamler, Hemayat. They're so similar. Why would they put two words that are so similar that mean opposite things?
We need to Hamle Tirgan.
We're coming to you on roqemedia.com. It is there that you can link to all of our platforms. We are on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, CastBox. If you'd like to see some visuals with Roqe, I feel like bad now that I called Fardod tiny. He's not tiny.
No, we're just saying in comparison to how tall you are.
That's right. If I were to go up to him, I would, I'd say, "Are you Fardod?" Then
does he have
make some
hair?
comment about. No, he's very clean. Yeah. See, my mother would like his face.
Got it.
Very clean.
Got it.
And polite. It's polite to have clean face. Yeah, my mother. Really, it's about whatever I have is not the right thing.
Isn't that the same with all parents?
Most of my life, my mother was like, "Why do you have this?" You're. I told you, like I've written about this. How my mother,
right.
She'll never say it directly.
Right.
It's passive aggressive. It's more like, "Oh, you've decided to grow your hair."
It's the
like
mom
that.
tone.
Yeah, and it's like, what you mean is you don't like my hair. No, you just decide. Oh, you're wearing those boots again. It's like that, right?
Right.
So. The whole time it's like, why is your hair long? Why is your hair? And then if I cut my hair, she'd be like, Murray's hair has gotten long. It looks really good. It's always like that. So I think if I clean my face up, it would be like, oh, Batman has grown a beard. But I think with the beard thing, no, she's never.
I don't understand why. I've really noticed this. A lot of Iranians are against facial hair. And
really?
I don't get it. Yeah. Like
younger
Iran, like friends of mine who
really?
I talk to, all the
don't
time. And then I always say, I'm like, I genuinely believe men should have facial hair.
Oh, you're pro facial hair.
I am super pro facial
you
hair.
You hamayat.
Yes, I do.
You hamayat the facial hair. Yeah. Well, it's certainly a thing. What about the man buns? Do you like those?
I never really liked it, and then recently I was like,
you come around to the man buns?
Maybe a little bit.
But you like more a corporate kind of guy. You're not really into arts,
no.
cultural people.
I mean, I
the
do.
person
I just don't
who's
think they need
working
to
on
look
this
that
show,
way.
and you are looking for like a guy with super. I'm surprised you like the beard actually, because you're very like you want a banking.
Is that the vibe?
Guy, it's not the vibe. It's what you've said. That's
no,
what
it's true.
you.
It
yeah,
is true.
you like
it
that corporate kind of.
But they still need to appreciate arts and culture and all that. They just don't need to look like an artist.
If you want to, if you like to see some visuals with Roqe, switch over to YouTube. And if you like your Roqe descriptions and bulletins in English and in Persian, check us out on Telegram. Remember to support what we're doing. These riveting conversations about whether Twitter is going to be X for 3 more days. You can go to our Patreon page, link to it from our website, roqemedia.com. Serious now. If you're a regular, we know you're out there. We know the size of our audience. So if you are a regular consumer of Roqe and you appreciate what we do, we crowdsource what we do. So you can support us by going to roqemedia.com, pressing the support us button. It'll take you to become a Roqe member at our Patreon page for a few bucks a month. By the way, this is our final show.
Yes.
Before for the month of August, we're doing a best of Roqe, a month of best of.
Some of my
curated
favorites.
by some of the most discerning minds, the same people who think I should only speak English when I'm doing an interview on a Persian network, helped curate this. So look out for the best of Roqe. We got some surprises for you. Got some Roqe funnies. We got some things that we're excited about for the month of August. Thank you, Pegah.
Thank you.
Let's get to our feature guest. My feature guest today is a talented star, an Iranian-French singer, a musician based in LA. If you are a fan of Iranian pop, you may just have heard his dynamic voice. Take a listen to this. There you go. Little taste of John from 2010 and the album Dobare. That is Kamyar. Born in Tehran, raised in Paris, Kamyar started playing the piano from a young age. He attended a classic conservatoire in Paris, honing his piano skills. But when attending the Sorbonne for an English degree, his singing voice became more and more of what he was known for. In 2003, he relocated to Los Angeles to venture into the Persian music industry, soon joining the legendary band Black Cats. After that, he embarked on a solo journey, releasing his debut album, Dobare. He is influenced by R&B, Middle Eastern music, folk music, and he's been very outspoken during the uprising of the last 10 months in Iran and has released music and done performances in support. He also recently released a brand new song with Babak Amini. We will get to all of that, but first, Kamyar joins me from Los Angeles today. Hello, sir.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Jian. Hope you guys are doing great. Thank you for having me from actually Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Oh, wow. Even better. Even better. I saw that you actually, one of the first demonstrations you attended after the killing of Mahsa Amini was in Las Vegas. So is that where you're kind of based now?
Yeah, I mean, the main place where I live is in Las Vegas. We moved here after I got married. And I think it was approximately 5 years ago. I would never, ever think that I would move to Vegas, but it's actually a really cool city. And it's funny because people always tell me, especially the non-Persian one, like, oh, you're an entertainer. That's why you live in Las Vegas, because you have all of your shows there. Well, absolutely not. Actually, no. My shows are all around the world, maybe few times here and there in Vegas, but actually I went there to really have peace, to have I live just by the mountains, and I just want to be more by myself and be more productive here.
It's actually a really big city. I mean, Vegas is known for that strip, but it's actually one of the bigger cities in the U.S. and quite a diverse and dynamic city, right?
Yes, it is. It's incredible. But the funny thing is that I myself was a victim when I thought of Vegas before. Like 90% of the people, when my best friends here told me, but check the city, you want to buy a house, you don't need to buy it in LA or Orange County or whatever. Come check it. But I was like, come on, the street. I mean, the hotels, pool party, a strip club. Where would my house be? What the hell? And I realized very fast that I was a victim too, because Vegas is not only about that. That's actually just a small percentage. There's a real life. It could be very family oriented. Like some part actually reminds you of Irvine, Orange County. Like,
but you love France so much. I mean, we're going to get into your upbringing, etc. But you always talk about how much you love France. Is living in France not an option?
Well, I mainly live here, but because I grew up in Paris and my very close immediate family, like my parents, my two brothers, and all my childhood friends, they all live there. So I get to travel there a lot. So sometimes I feel like I live in Paris too. I mean, Paris is not really missing in my life, thank God.
Kamyar, I'm really happy to have you on the show. I'm curious, when I start off with a song like Hey John, I have a couple voices in my head. One going, well, we got to play the big hit that people recognize, one of the big hits that people recognize you from. On the other hand, I think as an artist, oh God, the poor guy, like he's coming on here. It's 15 years ago or 13 years ago, that song. Is he going to be annoyed by playing something from his back catalog like that? Do you still love that song, or are you the kind of artist that feels like an earlier hit like that no longer represents you?
I mean, the way I sing the song, the soul that you can find in it, the scale I'm singing, which is mostly blues in a way. It's a 6/8 rhythm, but the spirit is actually, there's nothing really Persian about it beside the 6/8. It's a very modern 6/8. There's no zarb, you can kind of dance Persian to it, but it's very soulful as far as the singing. If you take the music off and if I sing that a cappella, for example, it becomes very blues. So that's really
Go for
me.
it.
But
Go for it.
Well, I think it's too early right now.
It's not that early.
Yeah.
Sure. You have such a great voice. It doesn't matter. But go ahead. Yeah.
But you know what? I'm not gonna really sing it, but it's just the spirit of it. If I take the rhythm out, it's like میدونی چشمام به تو میافته قلبم یهو پایین میریزه تا تو میای. So that becomes, it's like I'm taking you to Harlem,
Yeah.
it's Motown, and that's why, that's the spirit that I love. That's really me. But maybe today, maybe I would not say Hey John Labosho, for example, maybe not. But this is a part of me. It goes with that time. This is what I wanted to say. Maybe now I would say things different, but I love this song.
I love that answer, and I love where you went with it, because actually soul singing is where I wanted to go off the top of this interview. You and I have a lot in common in as much as we were kids who grew up outside of Iran, albeit you in France, me in the UK and Canada. But one thing I really feel connected to you with is the love of Stevie Wonder. And
Yes.
I've always thought you're such a tremendous singer, but when I found out you also worship at the altar of Stevie, as I do, I could hear his influence in you. Tell me when you discovered him and how Stevie Wonder has been a role model.
Well, I started the music playing piano until actually I was studying at the Sorbonne in Paris at this very special cafeteria between like classes. And that cafeteria in Sorbonne changed completely my life because there are so many artists. So I spend hours in the cafeteria. I think I started to spend more time in the cafeteria than being in the class, seriously. So I felt like I became a local star without knowing in that university, like people from all around the world. That's really amazing because this is the best university for languages. People travel from all around the world. You see all cultures, and you have more chance to see artists because you can study cinema there, movie, stuff like that. And when I was staying there, I had a couple friends, people that I met there, like especially one, a Black French person who was singing R&B, and I realized, oh shit, I'm not singing. I mean, I could kind of sing, or in a very shy way, I would say, secretly. And he starts singing some Stevie Wonder, some Lionel Richie, Marvin Gaye. I was like, oh shit, and I start getting frustrated because I felt the piano is not enough. I feel I'm just finding out that I need something else. So when I start becoming more curious about singing, and with the huge influence of my big brother, Bobak, my oldest brother, he really introduced me in a very deep way, I would say, to all the Black influence reggae music. Well, symbolically Bob Marley, but is much more to reggae. Reggae and R&B, soul, like, and and at that time we really was listening to Michael Jackson, which he loved it, but he started getting tired of Michael Jackson. He was like, listen, Michael Jackson is cool, but it's not only Michael Jackson. You need to go through Stevie Wonder and understand the real power of singing and technique and stuff like that. So when I started listening to Stevie Wonder, he rocked my world because he's a pianist, he's a singer, he's blind.
He's everything. He's everything. I mean, those albums from the 1970s, Stevie was doing everything on those records. He was, you know, writing the songs, playing all the instruments, playing the drums, playing the piano, singing, and he was in his early 20s. It's interesting to me because I'm such a Stevie Wonder fan. It's always it's a huge. I'm a huge fan, and it's always glaringly obvious to me. It seems that he's not known as much by Iranians. I'd say Marvin Gaye as well. In other words, if you mention Pink Floyd or even Metallica or King Crimson, Iranians know them. But Stevie, they might have heard of him, but they certainly don't know the back catalog other than a couple of the hit songs. Do you have any theories as to why that school of soul music, that Motown, didn't make its headway into Iran the way some other things like art rock did?
Well, I think that when I talk to older generation that kind of, maybe I would say more modern, but even though I don't really like that word, but like my parents, for example, they were very modern before Shah. Most of the people that lived in big cities and where even at that time when they would listen, either my mom would say, the only person we would listen to is maybe Gugush for Persian, as a Persian singer, but we would only listen to non-Persian music, Americanized Western, you know.
Yes.
And like my mom knew Stevie Wonder, my dad knew Stevie Wonder, they would know James Brown, but I don't know, after that I feel like a lot of people, they know Stevie Wonder's song without knowing it's Stevie Wonder.
That's true. That's probably true. Yeah.
Which, by the way, it pisses me off every time. You know, they might know Hello, but they might not know necessarily Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
But Michael Jackson, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's maybe it was less pop than Michael Jackson, but again, I don't like what I'm saying right now. I don't even like the way I'm explaining it. It's just weird.
I'm sure, first of all, your parents were obviously very cool. I'm sure that there's a lot of people, and there's people probably listening right now around the world going, of course we know Stevie Wonder, Stevie Wonder, you know. But I do think that if I were to, for example, juxtaposed against Pink Floyd, you know, where we've done an entire series on this program about the fascination, the connection Iranians feel to Pink Floyd, I don't necessarily see that with someone like Stevie. Now, not to go too far into the Stevie Wonder rabbit hole, because I want to cover your career here, but is it true you performed with him, or you appeared, or you did some sort of tribute? What was it with you and Stevie?
Yeah. There was a show in Los Angeles. I think it was the House Full of Toys. He does it every year. I don't know, maybe it was the 12th one or 13 years. I don't remember which one it was, but it was definitely his show House Full of Toys, where he invites so many huge stars. When I was there, I know that Justin Bieber, Drake, Michael McDonald, which no way Persian would know Michael McDonald, by the way. That one does not forget it. But
Dewey Brothers not on the radar. Yeah.
No. So many huge stars sang, and I think that's the concert he had where I did sing a part of a verse of his new song. Yeah, and it was his new album. I think the name of the album was A Time to Love. I believe it's his last album. He never did another album after that, maybe singles, but he was on the piano playing his songs, but were a few singers sharing that song, you know. Amazing. And I was huge. I mean, it was like, and I was the singer who was the closest to Stevie Wonder. I was like, oh my God.
Amazing.
I changed my body that night, I think, because my whole life I was like, my biggest dream is to be on stage with Stevie Wonder. And when I did that, I came back home, I changed my bio online. Like, I actually sang with Stevie Wonder.
Right. Well, yeah. It's quitting time. Go hang out in a casino in Vegas. You don't need to do. You've already sung with Stevie Wonder. What else is there to do? I don't say this with any lack of respect, but help me understand how you are an Iranian pop star, because you grew up in France. I mean, it would be natural for you to sing in French or emerge out of the French music scene. Is it strange for you that you ended up a Persian star, a Persian artist?
Feeling that I'm Iranian is not strange at all, being Persian, but having a star status, I would say, becoming known first in the Iranian Persian community, that was at that time, at that age, completely unexpected, because it was, I kept singing R&B and stuff like that. So, but I really have a huge love for Persian music too, especially when I say Persian, because for me, Persian music doesn't mean shit, honestly, because Persian is a language. It's like I tell you, I'm singing English music. English is not a style. It could be with a Chinese scale, but it's language. So first of all, we need to establish that. But I actually, this is the what I wanted to do in Iran, is like Persian music. It might only mean traditional classical music, because what is it? It's just language. So then I start singing R&B, but that helps me to connect with musically with Iran. But at home we would always speak Farsi, so I'm saying if that part, feeling Iranian, French Iranian, was absolutely not a challenge. But starting and singing in Farsi with another feeling, that was extremely weird. Extremely weird.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, you can. I mean, I played in a band for years. It wouldn't have occurred to me, even though I'm Iranian. Both my parents are Iranian. I love being Iranian. But because I grew up outside of Iran, I was singing in English. It would make sense to me that you would sing in French. That's what you're hanging around with a bunch of French kids. You're in the French culture. You're probably seeing French stars on TV, whatever. So it's very curious to me that you went in that direction. It's a little reminiscent of someone like Irfan, who grew up in California. And I always tell him, like, before I met him, I thought he was like some kid from somewhere in Iran, because, he's so Iranian in his music. But for him, it was more of a tactical decision, he says. He thought there's more of a niche that he could fill in Iranian hip hop, whereas there's so much going on in English hip hop. Was it a decision for you at some point? Like, hey, I'm actually going to do this in Persian.
I'm going to be honest with you. Anyways, I was always singing so many languages, like I was singing a lot in Arabic, even Hebrew, Armenian. Today, I might sing like around 9, 10 languages. Language is not a barrier, but the real reason why I started, I think, and I'm not going to lie, the Persian industry was never the target for me. I had this American dream first, to make it in America, and I'll start traveling with my tourist visa so many times, and I ended up meeting Shahbal Shapare. And anyways, I was like, shit, I have to live in this country. I cannot stay 3 months, go back 3 months. I mean, at some point they're going to tell me, like, what are you doing, like immigration, so I had to find a way to stay here. And I realized I wanted to work in Vegas, actually. I'm talking about 20 years ago, at least. And I met some people. I was like, oh yeah, we can hire you. Oh my God, like I did some kind of audition, and they were like, but so what's your status? I was like, do you have a work permit? I was like, no. Oh, you're a tourist visa, but how are we going to do that? You need a sponsor. I mean, it's going to be complicated. And then I realized, shit, I need a sponsor. So it's funny. I met Shahbal Shapare because then it was advised to me that through the Persian market, maybe because you're Iranian and you're a great singer, whatever, that might help and whatever. And that's how I started. I was like, oh, Persian market? Seriously? Me? What the hell am I going to do?
Interesting.
And then I was like, no, actually it could be cool. And Shahbal saw that, we can bring the R&B flavor in the Persian market. He believed in that. It was like betting,
He's great that way. He's done, he's that he has that kind of industry about him. He's spotting people and bringing them up like he did with you. Before we get to that, let me just go backwards for a second, back to you being in France, because I'm curious about you as the little kid in France after the 1979 revolution. I mentioned we have some stuff in common. It was a confusing and difficult time to be an Iranian in the West. I experienced it here as a kid in Canada. How would you characterize that period as a young boy growing up in an Iranian family in France during the Khomeini years?
It was honestly very tough for me, even though, I mean, I was kind of still a baby, obviously, but I felt completely confused. Even if I started to understand French when they would speak to me, I would refuse to answer them back. So that was starting to become a huge problem. My parents had to talk for me or answer to someone. I was just confused, and it took time until I start responding
Mm.
to people directly or in French. Maybe I felt a little bit with friends, but I think geographically I was completely confused. And the French, I mean, it's a huge difference. The culture is very different. So honestly, it was super confusing. And I mean, obviously, you're and when you start growing up, you start feeling even more different. Like, okay, like white people, French, Iranian, Arabs, it becomes very confusing, you know.
Yeah.
And you feel a kid, I guess you're more pure in your judgment, so there are questions unconsciously that you have, but you cannot really express them. And back in the time, I mean, I don't know if that's really what you're asking me, where we're going is correct, but back in the time, then I realized what racism could be or not, and there was a border.
I saw in one interview you did, you said there were some teachers who gave you a hard time, even, you know, that it was, I guess you felt like another, or you felt like somebody, an immigrant, an alien. You didn't feel like you always fit in. Would that be true?
Yes. So what's funny is, but because honestly, I hate being the one that plays the victim. I think a lot of people play the victim card, and I'm very careful the way I express, because I do not like to exaggerate something. You know, of course, I I witnessed racism, but it was not necessarily in quantity. It was not necessarily directly saying, "Oh, you're not French." Not that was rare. It exists, but that's rare. It's the way they would treat you, like, oh, obviously you got that kind of, like, you feel you guys are different, or where you would be in the class, or with who you would be, you know, because you know, like if the Latin community is huge, for example, in America, the Arab community from Maghreb is huge in France.
Right.
So I would be seen for a French person, French perspective, like an Arab, which I didn't even care, because actually so many of my friends were Arabs at that time. And it's kind of understand each other. We're different, I guess. So we're supposed to hang out with each other, you know? And that's funny. Unconsciously, you think that that's normal as a kid. So, you know, so I'm more accepted there, you know, and you start behaving a little bit different. So I got really confused about that. But very soon I became different with my Arab friends, immigrant friends, because I start hanging out with kind of like the ghetto, non-French, you know, Arab or black person, let's say, and the very blonde, how do you say it, you know, like the symbol, the curly hair with glasses, like, you know, like both make fun of each other, you know, and both would ask me, how do you hang out with this and the other extreme too? And I really loved both sides. I was so passionate, and maybe the artistic part in me is like I saw the good in everyone, and this is a huge difference between me and all the kids. And I felt disconnected, and I feel, regardless if it was in France, I was in France or not, anywhere I was in my class, I saw the best through everyone, the good. And at that age, people are not like any kids are assholes, you know.
I very much appreciate your desire to not exaggerate or play the victim. At the same time, I mean, look, it was a different era. It was being a kid in the 80s and 90s after the revolution in Iran, and you know, I mean, hopefully some kids don't experience all of the kind of things that they may have back then today. I'm curious, when you're taking these piano lessons. I think your mom had encouraged you to, and you're in classical music, and you end up going to university to study English at Sorbonne. I'm probably guessing that was Persian parental pressure to satisfy the parents. At what point in your mind are you going, I actually want to, maybe I could make a career in music? When did that occur to you?
I think that was before going to university, already in what in America we call high school, we call it lycée. It was very confusing. Do I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer like my dad? You know, how can I tell you? Like, I think when I started to go to university and I started really hanging out with adults, which was a freedom for me, seriously. Like, if we want freedom in Iran, in our country right now, if we want a new revolution, and a huge change, my revolution was in university, finally with civilized world, the civilized people, you know, because I found the people I was in the class very,
Right.
I don't want to say stupid, but very awkward. Like when I reached the adult world, you know, like people much older than me sometimes, it was freedom. And then I knew that that has to become a job, not just a passion. It could become a job. People start respecting me like it was crazy. Like, but obviously you have to become a singer. So I think I always knew that, but it's like it becomes obvious and loud. You know, it's like it was unconscious before. Now it's conscious, obviously.
Right.
And going to university, study language, it was, I think, a compromise. It was the best, smartest compromise because, first of all, the English language is very important. You can, I'm going to be singing in English too, anyways. I'm going to be traveling all around the world. So I think it was the smartest decision. It was completely matched with music, I think.
Don't be khajalati or don't ta'aruf here. You're an amazing singer. I mean, you're a really great singer. Was that apparent by the time you're a teenager or when you're in university, or is that something that you honed in the years after that when you went to LA, etc.?
Again, it's all the source of everything what is in cafeteria. That's the magic happened there. I became a singer officially in that cafeteria. I started singing Michael Jackson like secretly, and I was extremely shy to sing with my voice for someone. I would just imitate opera or do stupid voices, even use some techniques, but seriously singing in front of a crowd and not just play piano, it's like taking my clothes off, being naked, and it's a horrible feeling. But piano, no, I would show off. Yeah, I'm the best here, like, you know. But but singing is I was in the cafeteria and I thought there was no one there, and I started saying, "You are not alone. I am here with you." It sounds like Michael Jackson, but it was still one. It was part of my voice too when I sing soft, you know. And a girl who was Armenian, her name is Nora, heard me, and I thought there was nobody. Was, oh my God, what, you don't only play piano? Oh my God, do you realize your voice? Ladies can fall in love with you. That's why. Oh my God, and that changed my life. And I started singing in front of my mom, who has a teacher appearance when she needs to discover something new. It's always like a judge. I'm always scared of her to show her something new because
right.
Not an option.
Right.
And singing, and we did a meeting with all my friends who came support me because like I'm scared to sing in front of my mom. She need to approve that, you know, because she was a singer, you know.
Okay.
She sang.
I know she played the accordion, but I didn't know she was also a singer.
Especially a singer. She sang for the Shah, Farah, the Queen, the King of Iran. She Jaize gerefte. She got a prize, everything.
Right. Okay.
She was a huge influence in music and singing too.
So what does she say when you sing for her the first time?
You know, my mom will never give you directly, that's her style, directly a compliment. It's like, when I sang, I think I sang Hello from Lionel Richie, but I was like trembling because like, oh my God, and my friend are here. Am I going to make a fool out of myself? Then I finished the song. I was like, so, like, and my friends are, well, with her glasses, apparently I see your friends enjoying. They're respecting you and everybody is like, I assume you must have some voice. I hear that different than before. So it's interesting. Okay. And then slowly but she was my biggest fan when I say that, but she, you know, that's.
But hang on a second. Let me just get this straight. You assembled some of your friends to effectively audition for your mom.
Yeah. Because I was super scared.
Well, what's the worst that could happen? Your mom would she actually say you have a bad voice or something?
Because let me tell you, because I never had, I don't want to use bad words, but never had the balls, to sing in front of my mom seriously. It was just the question of just playing piano. That's it, you know? So when I would make noise, like, whatever, basically I was shy. I couldn't sing with my voice, so I would play it stupid. So she would always respond like, oh, please stop singing. Just playing piano. We don't want you to sing. Nobody wants you to sing. It's okay. Leave that one for me, you know? So when I grew up with that, there's no way that you find the strength to seriously sing because you feel you're gonna be stupid. Until my friends told me like, "Are you kidding me?" And then I start singing with my voice in front of my mom. And we made it official. It was like a ceremony. So she had to listen to me. She had to, to have clean ears when she hear me. Okay, there's something going on. There's 10 people in my house. Okay.
I think Nora in the cafeteria deserves royalties for the next 30, 40 years. Nora discovered, forget Chapeau Chaparret, Nora discovered you in the cafeteria.
Yeah, because she would beg me to sing again, continue. I was like that. Sing again. I swear to God, I'm a woman. This is crazy. She would find a language to make me comfortable. And I was like, "You're kidding. You're just making fun of me." I was like, I turned red and everything. And so she convinced me. And because she's a great musician, a great pianist, it's her job. So she knew how to talk to me. She was like, that was amazing. And I said it on TV. I said it everywhere. Yeah.
Where did you play for your mom? At home? Where was this famous audition for your mom?
Yeah. It was in a city next to Paris, in the region of Paris, and we had a house back in the time. And my parents bought me a Yamaha piano, so that's how it started since I was 10, 11 years old. And I think I was maybe 18 years old. It was very late, actually, somehow. 17, 18 years old, 19 years old when I started really to sing.
And you did the Lionel Richie song? You did Hello for her?
Hello, maybe I just called to say I love you, but Hello was my biggest audition song, regardless if it was started with my mom or with any audition anywhere. That was my karaoke sing. I own that song. It changed my career.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It shows some range because you're doing the Michael Jackson stuff and you're doing the Stevie kind of stuff, and then Lionel's got a deeper voice. Compared to Michael, so it's impressive stuff. I find this decision that you make in 2003 to go to the U.S. We say these things, well, and he moved to the U.S. to pursue, and it all seems very normal, and especially for Iranians because there's been so much migration. People like our parents moved to the other side of the world, especially in difficult times. But it's still kind of a big deal, for somebody to pick up like you did you're basically 20 years older, or maybe, I don't know, around that age, and you go, okay, I'm gonna go to the U.S. It's an audacious decision. Tell me about making that choice. You're leaving your friends, you're leaving your family, you're potentially leaving your comfort zone.
I was also leaving the streets of Paris because at that time I was still singing a lot in the streets of Paris with my two friends and a hat and in the metro station, train station, and in front of church Notre Dame, Montmartre. So that was my biggest school to really, what they say, become a man, but in music, especially at that time they would talk like that. That's how I first made my first penny. So I think that really made me what we understood back in the time when they say, "Oh, you become a man," So singing in front of a crowd that you did not choose, and that crowd did not choose you, and then when it started becoming a job for me, I very soon realized that France is not an option for me. When in America, with this sky's the limit. You can't really fly. You feel there's a roof in France. Something is stopping you. That's in music term. It's like there's a limiter compressor. It's like that. So you're gonna stay here. We're not gonna let you go down, but you can go much up. And the way you go up in France, it's like I found it at that time pretty disgusting how to make it. It was not completely unfair. So I had that American dream. And funny thing is that the last gig I did in France before moving to America, the place was called American Dream. That's some type of cabaret. You would have some dancers too, semi-strippers, but I was just singing there. It was very, very tough.
You weren't stripping yourself.
No, I wasn't. I was one of the only men working there. It was not a strip club. Don't get me wrong. It was something. It was a cabaret, but you would have singers too, a few, but you had to be very good because.
Kamyar, was there a moment where you go, yeah, I have to. This is the moment I'm going to go to the States. What was that moment?
The time I got it was ugly and I got disgusted. I did some audition for TVs. So I reached that step that you're gonna start going on TV, and you'll see it as like a The Voice type or whatever.
Right.
So I don't remember the name of the show, but it's kind of like American Idol, but back in the time in France. And I saw how better I was at some points, like if it was 20 of left or 15, like that kind of the final step. I saw like it was completely unfair how they would choose the singer. And when I witnessed it 1, 2, 3 times, and then when I start seeing the other contestant telling me, honestly, we don't understand why you're not going higher at that point, you know, I got so disgusted. I was like, okay, you know, I traveled to America. I didn't know why first, maybe to see what's going on. And then I saw, oh my God, how I got respected fast. I'm different, regardless if it's in the Persian community or American. I know how to do stuff they don't know. Like I would mix R&B and Middle Eastern stuff. Like, you know, like I would sing like a black singer, you know, with black influence, but I would do stuff that they wouldn't know how to do it, you know, mix it with Middle Eastern. So they would see me very unique. They see you like art really paid there, you know? And I was like, shit, I have to go there. This is like freedom. I felt I was flying. Seriously, it was freedom there. But it was very hard.
Why was it hard?
Because you live with your parents, you have all this affection, this love, and I had the best parents in the world who supported me with music from day one, as long as I proved that that's going to be a real job, not just the passion, the piano, and you know, in the living room, wasting my time for another career.
Right.
When they realized that, you know, this is a real job and I'm getting respected and there's a future, that's how they pushed me even more. Okay, go 100%, forget about university, whatever, go, you know. And leaving them and being so far from them, from my brothers, from, you know, that's how I felt, you know, I really grew up. But that was also freedom for me to do what I had to.
It was clearly, I mean, it's seldom this clear that one gets a result the way you did in terms of this being a wise decision career-wise, because of course you moved to the States in 2003, and as you said earlier, that fateful meeting with Chapel Chaparret, that connection that is made, and you end up becoming one of the lead members of this legendary group named Black Cats. I want to just situate you for anybody who, most people will know this already, but with just a massive hit song that you end up being the lead singer on. Take a listen to this. There you go. you may know that song if you're out there and you're a fan of it. That's this massive hit for Black Cats. A little taste of June Khodete, and that's from the early 2000s, and that features, of course, Kamyar, my guest today. Take us back to that time. This kid, I mean, yes, you had some success in, you know, busking in France, etc., but you've come to America, and you're suddenly thrust into this situation with this legendary band, and you have this massive hit. How much did that song and that moment change your life?
Well, that song definitely changed my life, because I think it's like a stamp. It's like if you think of Michael Jackson and you think of Billie Jean, you know, it might piss him off sometimes. Like, leave me alone with Billie Jean. Come on, I have other songs too, you know. Or Stevie Wonder with I Just Called to Say I Love You, let's say. Right. Everybody has a song, like whatever you do. So that became the song. But I think my life even changed with our first song, which became a pretty big hit. But even though it was not June Khodete, it was still a hit. It was Nemi Khamed. That was the first song, the first experience, the first appearance, a music video. Like, wow, new Black Cat singer. Oh my God, Kamyar, what a new style. I really felt the first revolutionary thing through Nemi because the beat was funky mixed with Indian, and we were at the same time in the studio with Arash, who was really singing. It was the same type of song. It was crazy. It was a big coincidence, and that really changed my life. I was really introduced suddenly and became overnight a star in the Persian community. I was almost not ready for that. I was like, what the hell happened? Oh my God. Like, you would go outside, people would stop you. I was like, I was so shy in this regard. Yeah. And
are you a shy guy?
Well, on stage, I'm absolutely not shy. Like, I do not appear shy. I feel like kind of like I'm Muhammad Ali Clay. Like, oh, I'm gonna kick some ass. It's so cool. Like,
right.
But it's very fun in a very healthy way. You know, I really want to be the best, but in a very healthy way, sport spirit. But when I go out of the stage, I walk, and when I get this amount of love and compliments, it humbled me so much that I feel so uncomfortable. I could be shaking. I could become numb everywhere. You know, like when your blood cannot circulate anymore in your feet, when
yes,
and you don't. This is what happened on my face. It stopped trembling, and I need 10-15 minutes to come back, especially if emotionally I went very far. And it's like now you're back in the real world, and I have really hard time to handle this love or this fame. So then I realized that that was my strength, like as an artist, or to be myself, or to express myself musically like that, because that's who I am.
What happens with Black Cats? I mean, I want to get to your debut solo album that is in 2010. Why did it not continue with Black Cats?
Well, let's put it that way. We had a professional and mature contract for 5 years. We were shareholders. I believe we can call it like that. For the first time in Black Cats, we really were having shares, like percentage, stuff like that. It was the main Black Cats business-wise was, of course, Shahbal Shapare, that's his anyways. Then there was me, Schubert Avakian, and Ramin Zoka. And then 2 other also joined in the image of Black Cats, but they're not shareholders. My best friend, my brother, Hakim, who I sang with in Paris, in the streets of Paris and everywhere. I made my first penny with through him, you know. He took me in the streets. And so I brought him in Black Cats. So he was part of the image of Black Cats, and Gilbert Avakian was the percussionist, who was Schubert's brother. So we were working together, and it was amazing. But I think you cannot have 3-4 leaders working at the same time, especially if it's Shahbal, me, and Schubert. Especially us 3, actually, because Ramin was more like, okay, we do whatever you want, you know. It was okay, you know. And I think Schubert, Shahbal, and me, in long term, it could create some type of conflict. It could become political sometimes, musically. It's not really about money. It's like, it's the position you have and everything, and it would change. It's like waves. But the amount of love I have for both of them is like really huge. I mean, Shahbal is really like my father in America. Like the relationship I have with him is magic. But I just believe it's like you can not have 3 leaders, 3 presidents being president for one country. It's impossible. So I had to fly with my own wings. I felt the 4th and 5th year, I felt like when I have my concert, I need to speak now. I have stuff to say. It might not be compatible. And Shahbal was very smart, and he realized that. So it was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. We should actually go our own way. And there was no fight. There was nothing. It was beautiful.
That is the most diplomatic explanation of a breakup I may have ever heard. It was beautifully done. Although it leads to my next question, which is that when your first solo album comes out in 2010, Dobare, Dobare is the name of the album. It's a huge hit. Was that a cathartic step out for you in that you were proving to yourself and others that you could do this alone?
I was oh my God, I was so scared after Black Cats. First of all, I was crying from from love and fear. Like the last gig I had with Black Cats was I was in tears the whole gig. It was horrible. And after that, I felt really like a baby who like, can you fly by your own? I mean, it's but Black Cats was my biggest school, so I learned so much from Shahbal, so much how to talk to people, how to the good, the bad, and then I found my own dictionary in the business and music now. But I really learned all this, the way to deal with Persian. I learned it from Shahbal, and I really had to prove myself, because Kamyar, we know you as Black Cats. Like I was under the shadow of it was Black Cats umbrella, and I'm here. But Kamyar, you by yourself, what can you do?
And by the way, it's not always a given that you're going to have a hit if you leave that band. I mean, even Mick Jagger's solo albums have never done that well. People, even though he's the leader, he's the lead singer, whatever, people want him in the Rolling Stones. So it's audacious to say, okay, I'm going to leave, and now I'm going to try and do this by myself, right?
Well, my biggest problem was like I was smart and no, not smart. Sorry, I don't like to say that. I was very conscious about that. That might not work, and it's going to be very hard. Don't think that. And I saw examples of people, that group that, they broke up and nothing happened, at least for some of them, or maybe none of them actually. So I was very aware of that. So I was very hungry, like really, like I had to, it reminded me of a Roqe movie. Like he really wanted to make it, like it was like tough. And so I did everything. My first hit song was Ye Bous Bede. That was my proof to say that, okay, I'm Kamyar, it's me. And I remember I brought Shahbal for two reasons. One of them was love. And now I'm going to be honest with you. One of them was love, because Shahbal, he came in the video just as a guest, which confused the image again, because like, wait, it's not Black Cats. I feel now I did it out of love, but also out of some type of safety. Like just appear just for a few seconds, but it was cool. But also it showed that it was a nice breakup, it was not a breakup actually. And then after the single, it became part of the album Dobare. When Dobare came out, then I knew that, wow, I made it. Like Dobare, Ye Bous Bede was a transfer, but Dobare was boom. That was like, oh, that's me 100%. Now it's a funky rhythm, bass, like with Hakim's bass, that's me. And when everybody starts saying, like that, it was like, oh, wow, I made it, man. And then, of course, Ejan, Dare Bavar Mishe, Nazdik Man. I had all this dream that, okay, I want to use the Baba Karam rhythm, but for some rhythm and blues. Bia Yekam Nazdik Man, like R&B, rhythm and blues, and Baba Karam mixed. I start being me. This is me in the Persian market.
Let me play a little bit of that Nazdik Man. Great video to that song too. That I was thinking of when you were talking about things going inside your body and feeling that. I was thinking about the video to Nazdik Man. So there's all these hit songs. I mean, this album is it's Adele-esque in terms of the way it affects the Persian pop market. You come out and you've got all these songs that become big songs. It's your debut. It's no secret that what happens after that is a source of some discussion and confusion for people, because you disappear or you don't put out music for a few years after that. You've talked a little bit about this, but do you have a perspective now on what you went through, or why you didn't follow that up for a few years?
So it's not that I was not doing anything, but it's like I would release a single once every back in the time, not now, but I wouldn't release anything for 2 years, suddenly a year and a half. And I think it's a disease. It's a star disease. It's a success disease. And you start having so many hits, you're doing good, and that's why I purposely use the word hungry. before. After Black Cats, I had to prove myself. You get to a point, we all go through that. You don't need to prove yourself. So you're enjoying your royalties, kind of, you know? So you don't feel the urge to release a song to prove, which is very dangerous. And you can watch the career of so many stars and you see their ups and downs, and 90% of it, consciously or unconsciously, has to do with that disease of success and hunger that it changed, you know. And you start traveling, you think you don't feel the urge to releasing songs. It's funny, you go more going live, you doing from like huge concerts or like private events, and you start traveling. You're just being you're becoming a tourist. You're becoming a tourist of your own spa, of your own success.
Is it ego related? Do you feel like you got too little too happy with yourself?
For me, it never was ego. Ego was never, ever an enemy, because I was very aware of it, and the way I grew up and the way I started music from the streets or whatever, ego was not an issue. It was just, I think that urge. I was discovering the success of Kamyar, the brand Kamyar. But I remember also I had some type of depression too, because of problems that I had with relationships and I don't know, identity, love, relationship, and becoming American. I had some immigration issues too back in the time. I don't want to go too much through that, but I had an O1 visa. It was complicated, you know, and I was kind of in danger.
It expired?
Yeah, I can't really go through details, but I'm saying it was expiring, and it was so many other problems became like priority. So when you see your house shaking, and it's not necessarily music related, so you don't have the tools, those tools to just focus on music, you know. And then I couldn't leave the country. So at the peak of my success back in the time, after the double album, I could not tour outside of America. So it was horrible.
What a juxtaposition. It's usually for Iranians in Iran that they can't leave, and here you are in America, and you can't leave America to do what you want to do. Kamyar, does it then, when you've had this successful debut album without these hit songs and for all of these different reasons that you've just laid out, you're taking some time and for the next one in terms of a next album rather than a few singles, etc. Does it then start to become an albatross? Does it then start to become this big weight of, oh God, how am I going to follow that up? How am I going to have the next Dobare? Does that start to weigh on you?
Yeah, of course. It started because all my friends, my family, everybody kept complaining about that, to the point that it started to irritate me. I didn't want to hear. Like let's say your friend at that time is, why are you not releasing song? Why are you? It's a shame, whatever. It would get to a point that I would be so irritated that I would run away from you. I would leave and it would piss me off, because they're saying something that is true. They don't know what I'm going through. And they're absolutely right. So what hurt me the most is, shit, they are absolutely right. They're showing my reflection in the mirror, and I can smell it. It's don't talk about it, you know. And I could not find a solution to. And so I think I need to go through it. We all need to go through bad experience to find yourself, and you choose, either you're gonna go down after that, or you're gonna go up. So I had to kind of look, you know.
Right. Muhammad Ali. What did your parents say at that time? What did your dad say?
Oh man, the closer you get to the family, the worse it is to hear that. Is like, especially my mom, because my mom leave her dream through me too, because she couldn't become a professional singer, you know, back in the time, and she's part of me, I'm part of her, so it was very heavy from her, and I would sometimes beg them to listen. Can we not talk about that? I don't want to talk about that, because I don't know. I don't know, and I didn't know what music, because let me tell you the problem with me. I feel like a supermarket of I'm kind of known as an intellectual singer. So it's, you see it as a supermarket, even if it's a cheap word to use. I have so much to offer. Basically, I can do so many different things. It's, which is part of the talent. When people talk about you, oh my God, you can sing Middle Eastern, you can do R&B, you can play piano, you can do Latin, you can do all the languages, every French style, not just the language, old school French style. It's great, but to a point when you hear all this, it's like, okay, what do I want to do seriously? Do I want to John Laboche? Do I want to say, hey, John Laboche, or do I want to say, like, I don't know, مشت منو سرسختی دیوار? Do I want to sing some Farhad style? It became a to be or not to be Shakespeare issue, you know? And I think that issue became bigger than what it really was, because when you start thinking too much, it becomes too much intellectual. That becomes a new enemy, and you start, it smells even more now. It's like, what the fuck? It's like your glasses start to become so, how do you say, tar, like
clouded. You know? How do you work your way through that?
I believe with leaving everyone, going on a trip, just being yourself, going, I don't know, for example, in Thailand, and go somewhere with a complete different culture, somewhere, where the fuck am I? What language are they speaking? Oh my God, far from everyone, far from people that you might really love, and no influence, just you and you. That's it. And things, and with traveling, I always say to people, travel, because every time you travel, regardless of the experience you have, you're going to upgrade. It's like an iPhone. You know, you have to sync it.
I totally agree. 100%.
Go out of your comfort zone.
100%.
And me.
You know, it's so interesting hearing you tell this story, because I was thinking about, I was going to get to you being on The Voice, and there's a lot of these, The Voice Persia, and a lot of these young singers and musicians would look up to you. And I asked Ervin a similar question when he was on not long ago, but for someone like you, even though you're not a particularly old guy, but you've now lived through a number of things. You've lived through, singing in a culture that in France that is a smaller music industry, coming to America, having a big hit with a band, having a solo debut album, working your way through not having a follow-up right away, all of that. Tell me a bit about the advice you would give a 20-year-old singer today who says, Kamyar, I want to be like you. What comes to mind? What is the best way you can counsel these younger artists who look up to you?
Well, actually, it's a good thing, because I do a masterclass of singing, where kind of like shortcut to teach people a lot one by one. It's not necessarily that official yet, even though we have a website. It's like My Star Academy, with people all around the world, but it's kind of exclusive, you know. And masterclass that are group masterclass too. So it's funny, some of them are known singers, but we just agree to, famous singers, but we just agree to not say it, because they might not want to know that, oh, Kamyar is, you know. But there are singers, amazing singers that are not known, that ask me this, and that's part of my masterclass, is when you say you want to become like me, what do you mean? Are you talking just about, oh, I want to be known? Or, oh, I want to be a different singer? Because I want to be like you could mean everything and nothing.
Right.
Because then it goes back to that question, but who are you? Do you know who you are? Be like me, fame, that's not the greatest thing I want to hear, because fame could automatically come with what you have. Then we can talk about marketing, but that's a different thing. But it's why do you want to be different? Because when Shabal asked me that question, I was very clear about it. I knew what I want to do. Yes, I love Stevie Wonder, but I don't want to become Stevie Wonder, but I have a huge influence. Influence is beautiful. Getting inspired is beautiful. In my master class, I want to continue being an inspiration, but for you to find yourself. So my first thing is, did you find yourself? Find yourself, be yourself, and ask yourself, what is different about you? Stevie Wonder did that, Moeen did that, A.B. Dariush did that, but your name, let's say, is Abbas. Why are you different? Why do you need? Because you need to be different than me. You could still be R&B, soul, funk, whatever, but what is it that is different about you? And that's the main question where sometimes they like they threw up guard, you know, like oh shit, like, you know, and then you see, okay, do you have the real reason to, do you really have it to become, because it's vocal aside, it's not just how good, even if the singer is a great singer, I could tell like this person is not necessarily going far. Like
Right.
it's not made for TV. Maybe you can sing and have the best party in, as far as private party in your living room, make everyone happy, but you need to be you. And this is what is missing. The real reason why you want to be a singer, the essence.
Hmm. It's such a great pleasure having you on, man. I want to spend our last little bit together talking about Iran and what's happened in the last
Oh,
year, the uprising of the last 10 months, because you haven't been shy at all about
yeah.
standing with the people inside Iran who've been fighting for freedom. I saw you at protests in I mentioned Vegas earlier, in Paris. You've released a couple of songs. We're going to play a little bit of one of them in a moment. But tell me first of all, your visceral reactions, how you processed what you saw happening with the killing of Mahsa Amini and the days and weeks after that.
I mean, the killing of my Kurdish sister, Mahsa Amini, especially that I'm also Kurdish from my dad's side, and especially we're Iranian, was, it was horrible. It was such a wake up, but I felt that something this time was so different, and I don't know, because it killed me. I mean, I felt there was, it started to become an opportunity for Iran, for everyone in Iran, inside of Iran and outside of Iran, to do really something. I wanted the whole world to hear us, because my voice is also our voice.
Mm.
We're one voice. And but I felt the challenge was that this time we really need to be one voice. We need to be together, which is always the biggest challenge, I think, in our Persian Iranian DNA, because we really have hard time to do a teamwork.
Yep.
We're very good. Us Iranians, we're the best in the world, honestly. Solo, we're doing the best,
Right.
but together,
Right.
it's terrible. I think a football team, we could even fight with each other in front of the world. I saw.
By the way, you can't have three leaders in the band.
Yeah, yeah. No, exactly. But this time you had to think of your brother, sister. You know,
Mm.
you had to think of future generations. It was not about me being a leader. Is me being part of. You know, when people think we're all part of God, part of love, whatever. This is, we all part of. It's a mother. Iran is a mother, and there's it has cancer, and we need to all become some kind of chemotherapy. And chemotherapy could be a very aggressive. It's not easy. It could be aggressive. It
Mm-hmm.
goes through
Mm-hmm.
anger, through cry, through tears. This is a revolution. In revolution you have all these feelings.
Mm.
And the revolution started inside of me. I discovered myself. I saw I could have some very weird trapped feelings inside of me. I really felt, I never felt so much Iranian in my life, so much Persian. And it pissed me off when I looked some of the artists, and obviously I'm not going to say names, but and a lot of them changed, actually went to the right side, not on the dark side of the force in Star Wars words, but a lot of them would start acting and saying stuff just because, oh, I mean, we have to say something, you know. And my first post, I was so angry. I did a post, I put a camera here. I did not calculate everything. The one I was saying, shame on you, Sharm
Yeah.
Barto, I get calling them,
Yeah.
whatever, if you do anything.
Yeah.
Bro, I was here so angry. There was no marketing, nothing. I said whatever I had to say. And I think sometime I was talking shit, so I had to edit it a little bit, like, oh my God, calm down. And I was very scared. I just throw it, and it becomes super viral. And just because I'm angry. And I guess it became some inspiration for artists, because I was talking to artists like, what is it? You think it's just a bad thing that happening? You're gonna put something, oh yeah, it's really bad. Yeah, and with two pictures, of like, this is like, we're soldiers,
Yeah.
you know, in our own way. We might not be in the streets. It's very different. But in our own way, it could be with music notes, whatever tools we have to do something, and it's not about me shining. It's Iran. Like, we have to save it, you know?
When you talk about revolution, there has been, and certainly in the last year, there's been a lot of anger at what's called the reformists, the people who have maybe tried to still put stock in, negotiating with the regime or resuscitating the nuclear deal or something like that. In particular, there was a lot of anger, as you would know, against a group called NIAC, and they're perceived as reformists. You predate this by about 4 years, because 4 years ago you canceled a show in 2019 because it was organized by NIAC. You don't have to go into all the politics of it, but you could tell me what you learned from that whole experience.
Well, I learned something is when you're doing something or you were close to do something. For example, I mean, you're talking about NIAC or anything else. First of all, I'm not an expert to go through the DNA of NIAC to really tell you what it is or what it's not. But I just felt that for people who love me, for my fans, family, people in the world, something was wrong. Something was not clear, you know? So the NIAC case, I learned that something is not clear. And I saw that if I do something with it, it's going to hurt so many people. If it hurts just few people, I could be, I don't care. And I don't know what exactly NIAC is in reality, so I don't care. But regardless of what NIAC is or not, it's hurting truly so many people, even my family member, even maybe, very close people. And I was like, okay, is it worth it for me to go sing something that I don't know and hurt so much people? So what I learned is, like, whatever you do, it's extremely important that you know where you are putting your foot. That because I never experienced something like that. But the cool part is, like, the message I got from thousands of messages that I got in 24 hours from the world, for 99% of it, and that's my experience, and even though I would not see Persian like that because I see them very aggressive in the comments when they're not happy, but it was so respectful for most of them, the way they addressed to me, that please don't do it. Like, it was so, most of it, that was like, wow. I was big, because if they would start insulting me, if you do that, then I was like, you know what, you guys are not better, but I feel it inspired me that they're trying to tell me something with love. So you know what, I'm just not going to do it. It's okay. Obviously that it might be wrong,
The song Iran Mal Most, I want to play a little, actually let's play a bit first, and then tell us a bit about this song. اسم تو شده یه رمز شیرینا قهرمان ما شدی نیکا مثل حدیث و غزاله و سارینا مثل نوید و حنانه و روشنا گره میزنیم ما موهامونو برای پدرها و مادرامونو برای خودمون و بچه هامونو برای خواهر و برادرامونو ما میجنگیم تا پیروزی ما میمونیم تو میسوزی کنه دنیا پشت ماست یک کلام ایران مال ماست ایران مال ماست ما میجنگیم تا پیروزی ما میمونیم تو میسوزی کنه دنیا پشت ماست یک کلام ایران مال ماست ایران مال ماست خواهش میکنم این صدای اونو پخش کنیم به کل ایران این صدای مادر داغداره A little taste of Kamyar's song from, I guess, about 3 or 4 months ago, called Iran Mal Most, which is Iran is ours. Tell me about the impetus behind that message.
Well, the Iran Mal Most, or the two other songs, one of them was the Michael Jackson song, one of them was the Queen Freddie Mercury song, We Will Rock You,
yes.
And They Don't Care About Us. I did them in Farsi, and this one, they were all part of the revolution that I had inside of me. First of all, I left America at that time. I went in a village in France just to be by myself. We had a team, like a revolutionary team, just working on stuff, on content, on message, stuff like that. And that song, actually, Iran Mal Most, because we want Iran back. We want our mother back, because we feel like foreigners, like non-Persians actually took our country, and this is not us. It's not our country anymore. What the hell? It has been stolen, And what is amazing is that that song has been created, wrote from people inside Iran. Very, very talented team. Oh my God. And I'm so frustrated I cannot give them credits because I beg them, but they beg me to not, because they would be in danger.
Sure.
So this is really from the streets of Iran, from people that live there. And we actually rearranged it with my friend M. Joubi, a great producer who lives in Paris too. So we're together, and he was also a big influence, a big someone I worked with a lot. Like we spent the reason why I spent so much time in Paris during the revolution, because I actually wanted to honestly be completely focused on Iran, and I did not want to taste anything that has to do with me being a star or doing gigs or anything that because I felt like it was a treason, if it was something that would make me far from the truth.
Yeah, and you there was I think it was very early on in the uprising, again soon after the killing of Mahsa Amini. You were at a demonstration and someone interviewed you. It was an American media interviewed you, and you said, "This is my duty. I see this as my duty to be out here fighting for the Iranian people." Tell me about, as an artist, you said something earlier about it pisses you off when, and then you kind of trailed off. You didn't actually tell. You don't have to name names, but when you say it's your duty, are you saying that you believe anyone who has a platform, like singers like yourself, need to be speaking out right now, and that you are disappointed if they're not doing so?
Okay, so I, at the same time, I disagreed with some people when they said it's everyone's duty. I mean, it just depends how you formulate, what do you mean, how you interpret it. But I think it's our duty, if we say, when we are in our comfort zone, when everything is beautiful, if you took responsibility in front of camera when things were more okay, say, "Oh, I'm an Iranian, Iran is so important, oh my God, no, all this beautiful thing," or bullshit, depends. And when shit happens, and it's like it's still like like it's a music video. When I talk, I'm gonna put a black image, I'm gonna put that pisses me off, or people who are completely absent, and especially if you're artist, I hear your interviews, the way you talk about things, and I feel such an emptiness. So it's so fake for some people. Now I'm thinking about artists because it's even worse, because we are loudspeakers.
Yeah.
The more you have fame, the more your speakers are huge. So whatever bullshit or great thing that you say, it's louder.
Yeah.
So use the platform for whatever you preached you are. If somebody from start, let's say a star, whoever, who grew up outside of Iran, did not really give a shit, really, truly, it was himself, like, he's doing it. Some Persians love him, American loves him, whatever, but he never preached, he never said, "Oh my God, Iran, whatever," then I wouldn't be hurt right now. I wouldn't. See, I respect it. It's not, you need to feel it, and I'm just doing bullshit, or if you bullshit, then now, you know what, take responsibility, do it. And I hate that. And when I see the fakeness in some artist or some influencer, you can see the nature of their post or whatever they do or what they say. Is it real, or is it just, it's cool to say it? And me, I fucking hate that. But I learned to not focus my time on hating that, because this is going backward. You're not my focus anymore, like, I'm gonna do my thing. But if I can convert some of you that still have chance, because this is beautiful, and this is what I learned too, is you don't go and destroy somebody when they didn't do the right thing. Because if you destroy them, you could have them in your team. Some of them, they're still like that. Convert them with love. Don't destroy them.
Don't cancel them necessarily.
Now, if we're 10, now we're 7. We just lost 3 of them because we heard them pride. Some of them you can have them. They just need, some.
By the way, I love how this interview has evolved. Earlier you were like, Mazad, I'm sorry about this. I just want to use the word balls. Now you're like, I fucking hate that. You've thrown any. You don't worry about your elegance. It's all good. There are people. It's funny, now I've just had this happen a couple of times, but a couple of people who weren't active, kind of
Yeah.
prominent-ish people, Iranians who were not active as much, and know that I was disappointed that they weren't active, have turned around now and kind of gone, "Bebin, chi shud? Like chi shud? You had all these protests and stuff. Where did you guys get?" You know, they're not necessarily saying they're with the regime or whatever, but they're just kind of saying, you know, what is the purpose of all of this stuff? How do you feel, or where do you feel like we're at now, 10 months in, when obviously Toumaj is in jail and people have been executed and the revolution hasn't completed yet? How do you keep your inspiration alive, and how do you respond to that person who would say that to me?
First of all, fuck you. Fuck him. No. But no, now that I'm free to speak however I want, I'm just kidding. But I mean, we would need like, it's like there's something that we don't need. That something that is polluted. Oh my God, I'm speaking French now.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So something that is causing pollution or something disgusting that I can pick up and I can throw it in the garbage. Okay. I need to start throwing this in the garbage, But in order for us to have a change, to clean something, we need to all throw these bad things in the garbage, And I think these are like waves. The wave becomes stronger and stronger. This is part of a revolution. It starts here. It starts with people changing, Now I believe the next wave, it's like vaccine, The next wave is going to be much bigger. I know it goes down, but let's compare it with what was before.
Right.
Because now we were much more united. So we're becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. And then the next opportunity, the next jarare, as we say in Farsi, I believe it's going to be even bigger because the borders, we went much further this time. So because people like you, me, whatever, we became loud, and we know it's that together we can make a change. But people like this, if they don't want to do anything, if they're just waiting for someone else to do it, I mean, we don't need them. We're not going to wait for them. If you guys want to follow the wave, come. But don't get credit once things change. Like, yeah, I was here. No, fuck you. You were not here, and you don't even deserve it. But we will remember, So, but I think that it's becoming bigger and bigger. If you remember the green movement, that was a huge change. You would hear it all around the world. Look what happened now.
Sure.
Imagine next time what's going to happen.
Yes, but we have to keep faith in the next time. Obviously, it's been really a great pleasure. You're a really energizing to talk to. I love your story, your wisdom that you share, and learning about Nora in the cafeteria, and the audition for your mom, and your position on these protests. I really appreciate the time, Kamyar Jan. I want to go out on this new song that you did with our dear friend Babak Amini. Just 3 or 4 months ago, you released this. Royaye Donya, is that what it is?
Yeah, Royaye Donya.
Royaye Donya. What can you tell us about this before we go out on this song?
Well, I wanted to have some kind of reggaeton song, but a reggaeton that the beat might be a little bit, gangster, but behind it, the cocktail that is around is very poetic. I wanted to kind of have the two world. And I was a little bit inspired of what Santana did in the concept with Maria Maria, like bringing the guitar, like mixing with guitar and singers. So I was like, you know what? I like this formula. We have a great guitar player. He's one of my best friends, Babak Amini. He's really amazing. I worked with him before. We respect each other so much. I was like, wow. I want to go a little bit out of my comfort zone, and him going out of his comfort zone because he has to come in the pop song, reggaeton, but we're going to change it. I was like, come on, be yourself. Give me some solo, whatever. It's going to be cool. So it was like a featuring between my vocal and his brilliant acoustic guitar. And finally, I had a real project with him, and it was a love song. I loved the lyrics. I wanted the lyrics to be a little bit not seriously, it's about love, but kind of not in the Ajon Labosho thing. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I felt I have more maturity too, and that song came out at the Voice, basically. The first time it was aired, it was in the Voice. I sang it live, actually.
Right.
But
right.
he was not here, so that was kind of the music video.
And people loved it. People.
Yeah.
If you go read the comments, and people just absolutely love that song. Hey man, really a pleasure. Merci. And next time in studio, I hope we do this in person.
Yes. You're in Los Angeles.
I'm not.
No, you're not.
No, I'm in Toronto.
Oh, Toronto, that's right.
I wish I was if I was in Los Angeles, I'd tell you to get in a car and drive west for a couple of hours, and we'd do this in person.
Toronto. Ask you in Toronto maybe then, or in Vegas if you come.
Or in Vegas. It's such a pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for all the time, and we'll keep looking out for your new stuff, brother.
I thank you, your team, everyone, and Payande Iran. I hope we'll do this in Iran, live in Tehran, everywhere.
There you go. Merci.
There you go.
Khodafis.
Thank you. Khodafis.
اگه مال من چه اون چشات حس کنم دلت فقط منو میخواد چی میشد اگه باشی تو فالم تا خوب شه حالم دوست دارم زیاد چی میشد اگه مال من چی تو یکی بعد از اون دیگه هرچی تو بگی آخه چی میشد اگه بمونی با من که بی تو واقعا ندارم زندگی رویایی دنیام به شرطی که تو باشی بخوای تو قلبم جاشی واسه همیشه رویایی دنیام تا وقتی باشم پیشت تو این دلم آتیشت خاموش نمیشه
Yeah, the brand new song from Kamyar with Babak Amini, the song Roqe Dunya. This is full time for Roqe for today. Thanks again to Kamyar for coming on the program. Our website, roqemedia.com, is where you can find all things Roqe related. roqemedia.com. Thanks to the amazing team who put this show together. Smart Pegah, Super Parisa, Talented Anahita, Savvy Roham, Bearded Omid, Sound Person Louise, and Kaveh. Thank you to all of you out there for supporting us and sharing our content. Please subscribe if you've not done so already. Find me at Instagram at Jian Ghomeshi. And as ever, Mizun Bashi.